We're expecting over the decade 100,000 Kiwibuild homes.
We want to deliver 100,000 houses over 10 years.
This is the policy that we campaigned on. We are going to build some houses. We're totally committed to our policy of building 100,000 affordable homes.
That was then. This is now. The government appears no longer to be as committed. Labour's flagship Kiwibuild policy is being called dead in the water from political commentators and the opposition. Well, joining me now is property expert Ashley Church from One Roof. Morning to you, Ashley.
Good morning, Kate.
You surprised or no?
Oh, not surprised. It's kind of the inevitable outcome of the back down that's been building over the last 3 or 4 months, as the numbers simply haven't materialised in respect of the construction of new homes, but it's really disappointing.
What screwed it up for them? Was it too high of a target in the first place, or they just didn't do the research properly around the specifics?
Oh, look, there's about 6 or 7 theories as to why they haven't actually been able to build them. I mean, you'll remember, Kate, that you go back to 2017 when these guys came into power, some would argue accidentally, and they had a grab bag, a sort of a Santa's sack of promises in respect of a whole range of different things, and this was simply one. And there was a degree of arrogance with it. There was an assumption that this was simply going to happen, and that by throwing $1 billion and then subsequently $2 billion at this problem, it was simply going to fix itself. And the reality is that hasn't happened. And you know, it's partly due to the where we are in the cycle. It's partly due to the fact that the government took the lead development role rather than allowing the private sector to play the lead in this thing. Some argue in respect of Auckland it's to do with the fact that there's a lot of nervousness around the implication, or there was, around the implications of the unitary plan, and so that's delayed construction. You know, take your pick on it. But the reality is we haven't seen these houses built, and as a result of that, we're now sitting, I think, at about 80 in a year that we should have built just 1,000 out of 100,000 in a target that was supposed to be 10,000 per year. So, you know, it's scary stuff in respect of what it means for the country.
How long till Twyford admits 100,000 of them will not go ahead?
I think he's kind of already done that. I mean, if you look at what he suggested, there's 2 ways a leader can deal with a problem like this. You can either front-foot it and say, look, I was wrong, we're going to take an active look at it, we're going to consult with the industry, and we're going to do what we need to do to make this work. Not many leaders do that because it's a difficult thing to do. Or you can do what most people do, and unfortunately what it looks like Phil's doing at the moment, which is kind of hide behind sort of the pretense that maybe it will, maybe it won't. And so the result of that's going to be that it's going to take until at least after the budget to see what's likely to happen, and I think that would just be more waffle. The problem we've got at the moment is when you look at this whole problem, you have to draw the conclusion that not only is there a problem with the market itself, but there's some deeply seated issues with the administration of that program within this government.
Yeah, he's not speaking until after what he calls the reset, which which we won't know the outcome of until June. Should he be a wee bit more? I mean, you say waffle, that's probably what we'll get anyway, but should they be a bit more upfront than this, given there's such an open, honest, transparent government?
Touché. You could be more upfront if you had a solution. I think, to be fair, Kate, I think if they had an answer to this, he'd be telling you what that answer was now. He wouldn't be talking about a reset or saying, hey, we'll wait until after the budget. He'd be saying, hey, look, we've looked at this and this is what we're going to do. What you can read into the actions over the last 2 or 3 days is code really for saying we have absolutely no idea how to fix this. We're giving ourselves a few extra weeks to come up with something, and hopefully after the budget we'll be able to tell you something. But I don't think anything will change between now and then, because if it was going to, it would have done so already.
Ashley, thank you very much for your time this morning.
No problem.
Ashley Church, property commentator.